If you can innovate something and constantly come up, better your product, you can't help but grow your company and be the leader.
Welcome to the Real Estate Executive Thought Leadership Podcast, a commercial real estate industry show featuring insights from executive thought leaders.
In this episode of RE EXEC TL, we speak with Arthur Zankowicz, the CEO and founder of Daylun, a sustainable materials and construction startup. In the conversation, we'll talk about his background in film and fashion, and how it brought him to sustainable materials development and net zero construction. We'll also dig into the advantages of utilizing next-gen construction materials and methodologies, as well as how innovation powers business growth. Let's get started. Hi, Arthur. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you. How you doing?
Good.
Okay, so let's get started here. Please tell us about your background and what brought you to what you're doing today.
I've always been an entrepreneur with an eye on innovation. One reason you get into working for yourself is because you have an idea. I did do fashion before, and with my fashion background, I've innovated a lot of products. When fast fashion was happening, I started moving towards sustainability. This was in the early 2000s. And so I was looking for products that can be used in fast fashion, but that are more organic and sustainable and even biodegradable. So that's my fashion background. And then I was also in film. I was doing movie production. I was doing art direction. And in that, I learned how to build. Every week we were building something different, a nightclub in a forest overnight. So that allowed me to see different ways of building, coming up with out-of-the-box solutions and quickly, and being creative and having a budget and time constraint, which really brought me where I am today, is building houses and building houses off-site and within a budget, and figuring out how to build it quickly, efficiently. And with the production in fashion, we had production lines. We had to use only X amount of fabric, so that also helps in the way we build our houses in a production line. So I think the combination of my background has really led me to where we're building houses today and where I am with this company.
Let's talk about your company. What does your company offer? Who do you serve? And what do you do best?
I think because we build things in a factory, there's a scalability to it. So if you're a big developer and you need 100 houses that we can produce, in my area, there's a lot of smaller builders who are having a hard time with workers, with products. We can offer a solution to that. You can increase your production with necessarily increasing your infrastructure, right? So we offer solutions to medium builders, to big developers, and the public who, if you're a handy person and want to build your own home, the way we build our houses, it comes with an IKEA instructions, a Lego way of putting together, and you can build your own house and be independent of waiting on builders and cabinet makers, and the turnaround is quite quick and you save a lot of money. So you're not sitting there paying a mortgage on your house, the new house you built, and waiting it for a year and a half to be built. I think that's what we offer, scalability and the speed.
Your company, Daylun, you offer the building materials and then also the finished modular product.
Yeah. So we finish the houses completely, unless somebody wants just a skeleton. But in finishing the house, we've managed to develop products that are in our wheelhouse as far as sustainability, as far as organic, as far as price, and efficiency as far as putting it together, right? So we offer the whole gamut.
So what are some of those building products that you've developed?
First of all, it's the steel kind of snap together systems. You can either buy 12-foot walls that are insulated, exterior cladding, drywall on the inside, or you can buy them separate. So they click together and two people can put it together quite simply. So that's our core product. And then from there, we've also developed a new replacement of drywall. The one thing I don't like about drywall is it's dirty, it's messy. When the drywallers are in, it gets dusty, it's heavy. For my fashion background, I developed an EVA that's biodegradable. And once we were playing around with this EVA, we noticed the strength of it. And we actually put in an air conditioning unit, screwed it into the EVA wall, and we did tensile strength, and it's actually stronger than drywall. It's 75% lighter. It's fire retardant. And especially for other builders who are building modular, they never attach the drywall to it or the gypsum board because it cracks when you move it. With our EVA wall, the tensile strength is really strong. You can attach it to the wall and it will keep the wall together. It won't crack. And it's lighter, like it's easy to handle. Another thing that we have is we're replacing all our OSB with bamboo wood. We came up with a really strong OSB. It's sustainable because bamboo gets full height in 60 days. Now with our fires in BC, and we're all dependent on BC wood, and the US is dependent on BC wood, The prices were fluctuating. People were saying cut down more trees, but we couldn't because then in 20 years, we're not going to have enough woods. Bamboo is just amazing. The strands are really strong and it's great. So we have an OSB that's made of bamboo, and we've also come up with the SIPS walls that has bamboo on each side. So it's a great alternative and a great sustainable alternative. The other thing another crossover product from before, I came up with a vegetable glue for shoes, and the vegetable glues to replace, we were coming up with a sandal, and if you've ever been in a factory that's cementing shoes together, the stench is unbelievable. So we came up with a vegetable glue that kind of replaced that, and it's 100% vegetable, and it's kind of an A and B glue, but we put it into our pavement, and we came up with a pavement that is permeable and is stronger than asphalt, and the tensile strength is stronger because it's elastic, and the permeability of it, why that does, because here in our city, there's a demand for, if you're building a house and you want to put in concrete pavers and walkways, it has to be a percentage green space because they don't want the water overflowing into the street and into the sewers. So permeability is a very big factor. So our pavement is permeable and comes in different colors. It's easy to put down. You don't need that much equipment to put it down, and it's organic. And then, so I pushed our factory, and this just happened 3 weeks ago. I said, how would this work in a rammed earth? So we did a rammed earth wall, and a rammed earth wall is when you take just dirt, put a little bit of cement in there, and just keep ramming it, putting it together, and you have a big wall. And so we actually put in our vegetable glue, and with our process, we actually hit 20 MPa, a little bit over 20 MPa, which essentially replace concrete, which is great because we have to go through approval, but we can actually make structural walls by just the dirt and pebbles in your backyard. And also the tensile strength, once again, is stronger than concrete. So there's more flex to it. You still have to put in some rebar, but it looks beautiful. Cost-wise, it's a little bit time consuming, but we're trying to make it more efficient the way you put it together. But yeah, right now, essentially, we've replaced concrete with the earth wall, right? We're constantly trying different things. And the great thing about the housing industry is that there's so much room for innovation, so much room for new products. Like even the walls, I've put some walls behind the plumbing. And the one problem we have here in Canada is that if you're doing offsite building, the inspector has to come in to the factory and inspect the plumbing and electrical and give off approval. That's problematic for us when we're doing it in a different area, different country, right? And shipping it. So by putting in pop-in walls, so you can pop in the wall and take it out, then you can get to all your plumbing, all your electrical. I had a hole in my ceiling, and I cut open the ceiling, I fixed the plumbing, patched it up, but then I looked and I said, oh, now I got to paint the whole ceiling to get to cover it up. And so with this concept of popping things off and putting things in, it's just like a car. If there's something wrong with your car, if your hood was welded together and you had to crack it open every time and repaint it, it'd be terrible. I'm just looking at a different approach, how we build the houses, how we think. I have an architectural kind of tower in front of all our houses, which just looks like just an architectural piece that's blocking a door, but I'm calling it the brain. And inside we have solar batteries, we have the wiring, there's a door for any Amazon deliveries you get, so you can put in a code, open it, your stuff's away, whether it be the cable company coming in, they'll have access. You can go from the basement all the way to the top floor with the ladder, get on the roof. So it's just a quick, accessible way. It's like an engine, the brain of the house. It's been a lot of fun because for me, there's just so many things that we can do to a house and improve on it. Like our cell phone has so much technology, and yet we spend millions of dollars on houses, and yet we're way behind as far as innovation.
You used a couple industry terms there. I wonder if you could dig into those a little bit. I think you mentioned EVA and MPA, OSB. Can you define a couple of those terms you used about the building materials?
Yeah, so EVA is just, it's ethylene vinyl acetate. And so all your running shoes, the foam in your running shoes is EVA, right? So it's a foam. And over the years, people have developed, a lot of shoe companies have developed it. It can take compression, it can take a beating, you're outside with it. So it's a strong material on itself. So what we developed when we were building our organic kind of yoga sandal, I said, it's got to be biodegradable, because it's one thing to have a recycled plastic shoe, but if it washes up on shore, and that company's brand is on it, it's still a recycled plastic piece, right? So I said, no, it's got to be either organic or it's got to be biodegradable. So we actually came up with an organic one. So that the EVA is just the foam for a running shoe, right? The MPA is the metric PSI. So 20 is what the standard is for, I don't know what translates into PSI, but is what the standard is for if you're building a house, it's got to be at least 20 MPA, which we've hit way above that.
Okay. And then I think you also mentioned SIPs, which is, let me guess, let me see if I remember, structurally insulated panels. Is that right?
Right. So what it is,
Okay.
just foam, EPS foam, and then two pieces of OSB, and it's really easy to put together. It's great for like smaller buildings. We're using it in all our roofs because it's a structural piece. It's insulated, so you can put your racking system underneath, and it's just for every roof. It's just a simple, structurally strong, insulated way of building a roof.
Got it. Okay. So what is your high level vision? What is it that Daylun is trying to accomplish in the industry and in the world?
So we want to have houses be accessible to everyone, right? I think by innovating, by making it easy to put together, by making it net zero and off grid, it really lends itself to putting it anywhere in the world, to building quickly, to building in remote parts of the world, and everybody should have their own house, right? I think the way we're building it is making it efficient and cost effective. And not only that, but once you have this passive house that's off grid, there are no bills, right? Everybody's building tiny homes now. Why are they building tiny homes? Because it's cheaper, it's no maintenance, right? This is the solution, right? And building it off site is making it more perfect. And yeah, it just makes it faster and cost effective.
From a developer's perspective or a construction company's perspective, what are the advantages for them?
You can plan things. I think that the biggest problem with house construction is it's a little bit of a crapshoot, right? We want to build this, but we don't have this, or we're short on PVC pipe, or we're short on workers, or when's the delivery time? You know, there's builders in the city that are way behind schedule, right? By allocating time and saying in the winter or this, build these houses and have them delivered at this date, you know what I mean? It's a pizza delivery. If you had to build 100 pizzas in your house and trying to get all the materials and pieces put together, you'd be scrambling. But just having the pizza show up at your house, you're like, okay, great, let's go. We're having a party, so let's have 20 pizzas show up. So it's just an easy way for planning and locking in prices. So and everything's perfect, right? A lot of times you'll see a house in this city be built, the wood is up, it's snowing, a month goes by, then the next electricians come by, then the next staff come by, and it's just a delay. Things get ruined. Well, this shows up done, and you're moving on, right? It dials in production.
Yes. Okay. Can you share a little bit about some of the projects you're working on and projects you have planned?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of good promotion on this one, and so this one project we're doing is our flagship house. So it's like a spec house, which is great because besides the technology that we have, we went out and talked to a lot of companies that have products that they're trying to launch or they're thinking of. I said, put it in this house. So this house basically has so many different new and innovative things that can be used in the future, but we're putting it in one house and showcasing it to everyone, right? What we do as far as for production houses, we'll decide what's cost effective, what's time effective, right? But this one house is really helping us decide and showcasing all the new building technology that's out there. We've been talking to various governments, and we've got a project that we're lining up in Africa we're going to produce 900 houses to be delivered to Africa. It's smaller homes, but we can produce it massively, cost effectively. And it's funny, in the tropics and in warmer climates, they don't really talk about insulating or how the houses are built. The way we're building is really helping with the houses the way they are in the tropics, in the sense they're insulated properly. Essentially, we can set up a house and it's self-sufficient there to show this is another way you can build that's very cost effective. It's really letting us build in different parts of the world and do different projects, whatever the needs may be.
So what geographic markets are you operating in, and what are your plans for growth?
Right now we're in Canada. We're going to be supplying, whether it be full houses or just walls. We have a lot of interest in the US, but we're looking for distributors, someone who can take our idea and run with it, and whether it be selling a wall or selling our house packages. And then as far as Europe, our standards are very high the way we built the house structurally with insulation, with the organic products. It lends itself. In Canada, we have, and in the US, we have LEEDs, but in the European standards are even higher. Our houses fall into those standards as well. It essentially can be built anywhere, right? I think in Canada, our environment is pretty tough. We have snow load standards for the roof. We have different standards for insulation, for electrical. And so by building a house at the highest standard and structurally strong, it can go anywhere.
I'd like to take a moment to tell you about Creative Real Estate Copy. We're an integrative marketing firm specializing in thought leadership content, public relations, and turnkey web design and content specifically for the commercial real estate industry. Creative Real Estate Copy helps CRE startups and established firms drive growth by building their brand positions, credibility, revenue, and capital flow. Learn more at creativerealestatecopy.com or call 888-337-0150. Let's talk about trends. What trends and challenges do you see in the sustainable design or sustainable development and construction industry, and what is your company doing to help?
I think the challenges are, and I've heard a lot of people say this, is that building a car, you have production lines and they're pumping out cars all around the world and they're shipping them. But with houses, they don't do that because it's not every country has different codes or every state. It's like every city has a different code. So it's hard to produce something efficiently when you constantly have to change. And if we had a code system or a standardized system, how you build houses, took everybody's technology and put it into one code, and maybe you alter things for whether it be what latitude or longitude you are, right? But if we had a standardized system, then housing would be so much cheaper, be built more efficiently, and we'd have better houses. I think that the way the trends are going is exactly like it predicted. It's offsite building, trying to hit net zero. Climate change is on the forefront of all the news channels, right? Being independent of grids that are shutting off, being insulated properly. I have a place in Thailand, and I couldn't believe everything's pretty inexpensive there, but my electrical bill was through the roof. And not only that, but the power would shut off every now and then. I'm like, why aren't there solar? It's sunny 24/7. Why aren't we having solar panels here? Why aren't we building insulated walls? Why aren't we utilizing the technology that's out there? So I think the trend is going towards being less carbon footprint and more net zero passive homes.
Let's touch on leadership quickly. How would you describe your leadership style, and how do you motivate your team?
I think being a startup and having innovation as the driving force, I think it generally gets everybody excited, right? I always am inclusive in when I develop things and working with things. I ask for everybody's opinions. At the end of the day, the result is everybody's input, and there's nothing greater than feeling like you're a part of something and the end result is part of you. So I think leading by example and having everybody involved, I think, and having an innovative product where there's a buzz and you're constantly thinking of something and moving forward, I think it goes a long way with leadership and with the team.
Let's talk about getting the word out there and building your presence, your awareness in the industry. What is the most crucial element in positioning your brand?
I think obviously it's to let people know that building a house isn't that complicated. Building a net zero passive house is not that complicated. It's very accessible. It's very simple, right? So I think when people think house, they think mortgage, they think it's just too complicated. But when you can break it down, and when I talk to my engineers, I always say, make things simple. I want to see a Lego style instructions, right? So I think presenting the house this way was going to go a long way with our brand and having a great product that's easy to build and understandable. That's where we want to be.
Where do you envision your brand going in the next 10 years? Say 2030, where do you see Daylun being at?
We want to be on the edge of building technology. We want all the patents we're getting, all the things we're innovating. I want to be seen as the innovator of building technology. I want to offer solutions. There's a housing crisis here in Toronto and in Canada. I want to be the company that solves the problem and gets it done quickly, right? I think that we want to line ourselves up to be the leaders of modular builds, of pre-engineered walls, of building technology, and essentially provide all the answers to building a house.
So we're just about to the end here. How can listeners learn more about you?
Our website, daylun.ca, daylun.ca. We're going to be launching all our products. We have a lot of products coming out. As I was building this pilot project, I got an idea for this, we got this. So we have a lot of products that aren't just about a house, but are for construction. Yeah, if you go to our website, we're going to be launching a lot of products for you to see and to use.
Awesome.
What is one closing insight you'd like to share for executives targeting growth?
You know what? It's funny. I always start when I have meetings and I'm presenting. I had a fortune cookie that I opened up and it was very poignant for me. And it just read, innovation keeps you ahead of others. And I think that's the truth. If you can innovate something and constantly come up, better your product, you can't help but grow your company and be the leader.
Thank you for joining us today, Arthur. We appreciate your insights.
Thank you, Kirby.
Thank you for listening to RE EXEC TL. Please like and subscribe for updates on upcoming episodes. Share the inspiration.